Alrighty, welcome back to Big Motor Small Blade. I'm Seth. This is Matt, aka uh, credentialed Matt Faust over here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Now that we've gotten through just me being here, and we got Matt back, we are less than 24 hours away from the start of the Indianapolis 500.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
and
indeed.
I think it's going to be a wild one. I think we got a very high chance of someone coming from the back to win this race.
Agreed.
And by someone, I mean Joseph Newgarden. I don't know. He looked really quick yesterday, as he has all month. Obviously, I didn't end up making a video about it, but they got a penalty for the attenuator being sealed off and smoothed over, and they got sent to the back. So, how quickly do we expect them to get to the front, Matt? What do you think?
It's tough to say how the race plays out, with certain strategy calls and yellows. I mean, strategy, depending when a yellow falls, it can be like last year with Long Garden Daly. They can be up there right away.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not on merit. I think by merit, I would not be surprised to see him crack the top 10 within the first half of the race. I wouldn't be surprised. He looks very, very good in traffic. Newgarden just has a good car. He knows how to get around this place. But the key is he has to be aggressive but patient at the same time, and that is a really tough skill to have in a race car.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure how that'll play out for him, and it comes down to luck at the end of the day coming from that far back. It comes down to luck for anyone. You can have the perfect race, finish fifth here. It's a very tough place, very demanding, and the track has to want you to be up there at the end of the race. So Newgarden has the pace. I could easily see him on merit getting up to the top 10 within 100 laps.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. We had some failures yesterday. Ryan Hunter-Reay blew up spectacularly. Graham Rahal, again, or I say again, has he lost a motor already this month?
I don't think he has. He just had other issues.
Yeah, he just had every other issue in the book. He had a problem. Takuma Sato, our second place starter, had an issue. We apologize. We got cars going on in the background. So if you can hear that, we're sorry about that. But yeah, I don't know. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be cool again tomorrow. Unfortunately, it looks like we have about a 20% chance of rain all day, but it's not particularly high at any point more than another. Obviously, you can see by my hat, I'm really hoping there's no issue tomorrow. We get this going all the way through, because it'd be a real shame if the double attempt was again thwarted by rain. This year, he, of course, will have to leave, and Tony Kanaan will take the ride. But assuming he does run, we're talking about Kyle Larson, or I'm talking about Kyle Larson. Assuming he does run, he looked pretty good with the pack yesterday. He ran with Newgarden, with Pato for a large portion of practice yesterday. Looked good, made some moves. Obviously, the moves are a little easier to come by on practice day. But I don't know, what do we think about Kyle's chances? He's starting 19th now after the bump back of the Penske cars.
Yep.
What are we thinking for him?
I think he'll be able to hold his own tomorrow. How much he moves forward, that's really the question. I'm not 100% sure. I know he can keep up. I don't think he's going to drop back unless he gets into an issue. But I think he has more experience now to where he'll maybe not be the most aggressive driver out there, but he knows that he has to keep it clean. And like I said earlier, it's being patient in the race. He's in 19th. You're able to kind of slowly work your way up. Other people are going to make mistakes in front of you. Make sure to capitalize on those, but don't do anything that's going to put you in harm's way and potentially take you out before the end of the show. Because those are the things we hear every year. It's like, oh, they had the best car. Colton Herta last year had a great car, spun out. It's just, you need to be there at the end of the race. The first 100 laps, I remember Elio Castro was saying, and I believe it was a Rick Mears philosophy, is don't go a lap down. Stay on the lead lap in the first 100 laps and then work your way up from there. Then it's race time. So really separated into two races. For Larson, that's the big thing I think he needs to worry about, is staying patient. I think he has a good enough car to get up there, though.
Yeah. And to be fair, that is like the one thing he does have experience with here already, is starting further back. I know he qualified fifth last year, but obviously had the horrendous first restart and ended up about 14th or 15th, I believe. So he's not too far away from that right now. He already has basically that experience of just chipping away at it and getting there. Obviously, he unraveled it at the end, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him competing for a top 5. And I mean, if enough things go right, theoretically he could get it done. I'm certainly not going to put money on it, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. But let's talk about our pole sitter. He didn't look great yesterday. I don't think anyone really expects him to do great, in the race, not poorly necessarily, but not world beater. They spent a lot of time working on qualifying trim throughout the entire month to try and make a big splash during the race. I believe that's definitely going to hinder them tomorrow, but I don't think it should take away from what they've accomplished this month. A new team, rookie driver, never been on an oval before, just leaving it flat out and absolutely going after it.
Absolutely. The one thing I noticed yesterday is that the car is very fast, and piggybacking, you said qualifying trim, that's all they focused on in the first week because they were scared they weren't going to make the race, and boy, how they were wrong there. I think they have a really fast car. The only thing I'm concerned about is when they fall back in traffic. I think that car will just be dropping like a rock. But if they're able to keep it up front, maybe they'll be able to make some adjustments. Maybe we'll watch some onboards, figure out what he needs to do in traffic. He could just be doing things fundamentally wrong. I heard Marcus Armstrong mention that last year. He went back and watched onboards in practice. Like, I didn't know what I was doing last year. So it could be things that he could pick up. First of all, it's going to be his first oval race. I mean, we're sitting here, he won the pole spectacular, and that's nothing to be overlooked by any means. But it is still his first oval race. Yeah. So, hopefully he can keep that car up front for a little bit, but I just have a fear once he gets 3-4 cars back, it's just going to be really tough for him.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger, leaps to go from circuit racing to oval racing that I think maybe gets overlooked is that you cannot, especially in a race like this where the draft is so important and all that, you can't drive away from people.
Correct.
Like, if you get a few green flag pit stops in, theoretically you have good enough stops, you can get away, you can break away at some point. But for the most part, you're going to be in the pack, and it's so much more of a chess game than it is a just all-out go sort of sentiment. So I think that kind of sneaks up on guys who are not oval guys first and foremost.
Agreed. The one thing that I could see happening is that he could really pull Simon Pagenaud. He has a fast car up front, and people are going to want to save fuel behind him. Yeah. He could keep the lead up there. I don't think that's going to help him later in the race when he gets, passed by somebody. That's one thing he could do is just go up front, hope the yellows fall your way and the fuel mileage works out, and just keep yourself up front. That's what Pagenaud did, and it worked for him. Obviously, he had a really fast car. Yeah. So does Schwartzman. I think Schwartzman has a very, very fast race car, but I just don't know what they can do in traffic. So if you're going to have people behind you saving fuel, I say go for it. Lead the race. Let luck determine what happens to you at that point. Everybody wants to go out here and play it so tactically, save fuel and run in a line. Somebody's got to lead the pack, and I think if he has a good car up front, he should keep it there.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he can work something out with maybe a Takuma Sato to maybe swap the lead back and forth. That'll help, obviously, their situation. But I think we'll talk real quick. I don't know what we expect out of the hybrid unit. I'm kind of anticipating it not being used a lot during the middle stint of the race, maybe early and late, but I'm not really expecting it to be a big factor in the middle stint. Just because I feel like guys are going to be, they're going to be saving fuel, and there's no point in adding extra power to the car if you're trying to save fuel. But You've been more inundated with it. Has there been any sort of sentiment about how it's going to be used in the race?
I'm not too sure on what the hybrid strategy will be for the race tomorrow. I think, like you said, just like any race, I think when you're pushing at the beginning of a stint and the end of the stint, that's really when you want to make up times. That way, when you come to pit road, you have a little bit of advantage. You can jump over people. I think that's when you're going to be seeing a lot of use of the hybrid, and just full power in general. That's what we've seen the last few years. Pato went from 15th all the way up to the front. Same with Dixon. They were on the same strategy because in their in-laps and out-laps, they were pushing up into the higher 220s rather than sitting there and running at, 2:0 or 2:10 averages. So that's where time can be made. I think that's when teams will be using the hybrid. You really don't want to get caught recharging because then you're just so much slower, you're dragging. So it'll be interesting to see how that hybrid use. Obviously, we'll be in the stands, so we're not going to see it too much till after the race.
Yeah.
But I definitely believe, I agree with you, just like any racing, and once you get into the beginning and end of the stints, that's when you're going to be seeing a lot of the push and the full power, and that hybrid really be utilized.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and talk real quick about Palou, Dixon, just because they're guys that are always up here at the 500. Mm-hmm. And other than the one time 17 years ago now, haven't been able to get it done. Obviously, Palou has not been in all those. But I felt like they were, or at least Palou was definitely the serious favorite coming into the month. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like he's not now. I mean,
I'd have to debate that. I think he has a really strong car. I don't know.
He does have a strong car.
I think he has a really strong car.
Okay. He does have I'll go ahead and make my case then. Mm-hmm. He has a strong car. as long as Newgarden can get through the field, which the conditions are going to be the conditions are going to be perfect for that.
Yes.
I think Newgarden will be there he'll be there with 50 laps to go.
Agreed.
I don't think he's going to be able to hang with him. What do you got for him?
I'd agree with that. I feel like the two best cars that I noticed, I think that Newgarden and Palou are better than Pato.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pato will still find a way to get himself up there, because I think last year, I mean, we know he didn't have a great car. He was fighting the wheel every lap.
Yeah.
So I think if Palou and Newgarden are up there, it's going to be really hard to break your way into that top two. And that's really where you need to be. That's where the better air is. That'll be interesting to see how the hybrid can help the third car in line. But if everyone's using it, it makes no difference.
Yeah.
So I think if Palou is up there, I think it's Newgarden that's the one that's going to have to come and take it from him. I could be wrong. I wasn't super impressed with Pato's car yesterday. It wasn't bad. I just think Palou and Newgarden are better.
So you bring up Pato.
Yes.
Does it matter? Because it seems like the car is better than it was last year.
That's another, and that's what I meant to say with Palou. I think Palou was, probably a top 10 car, and he was able to get it up into fifth.
Yeah.
This year, I think Pato had, a 12th place car, and he was able to get it up there, leading the final lap going into turn 3, 2 corners away from the win.
Yeah.
So I think with Pato, with a better car, absolutely, that's someone you have to watch out for. Yeah. And I'm not saying he can't win it even with that.
Yeah.
It's just when it comes to pure pace from Newgarden and Palou, I just think they're better. But Pato, you can't rule them out. I don't think it matters. If I'm going to go and say my pick, I personally think it's Pato's year. I know everything I said kind of contradicted that, but you kind of have to take out the better car. You got to take that element out. You got to look at what he is able to do around this place. It's absolutely exceptional. So I think it's Pato's year to win.
All right. So Matt's made his pick. I'm going to stick with the pick I made a year ago, and I think Joseph Newgarden three-peats. I think
it's a good pick.
Yeah, I think the car. I mean, I feel mildly cheap for making the pick, but I did make it a year ago. So
I'm starting 32nd.
He is starting 32nd, but that car is on rails.
He'd break 2 records: furthest person back to win, and then 3-time winner. It'd be incredible.
It would be, and I know the faithful here would be mildly irked if he won the race, but I'm here to see some history. To be honest, I'm good with a lot of outcomes. But I'm really good with that one, just for the simple fact of it. I know it feels a little tainted, but it would still be a three-peat. And I'm going to say it again, all these guys are skirting the rules a little bit, and don't believe anyone that tells you otherwise. But yeah, you got anything else?
I'd say love or hate him, you're going to want Joseph Newgarden up there fighting for the win. That's been the storyline all month, and now they're in the storylines for other reasons. If he's up there at the end, that's just picture perfect. Hollywood couldn't write it any better.
Yeah. Well said. I don't have anything else to add. So, yeah, Indy 500 tomorrow. Be there or be on your couch ready to watch it. It's going to be a wild one, and really hope everything goes on time. He's been Matt. I've been Seth, and we've been at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we'll see you tomorrow after the Indianapolis 500.